coming up on Wrestling Life.
I said, man, don't nobody want to work with me. They all scared of me. Then I hear this voice, hey, I'll work with you. And I looked over with Goldberg, big old bald head guy with muscles. And I said, okay, that's what you, but it wasn't like a, hey, I'll work with you. It's more like a challenge. Hey, I'll work with you. Then I said, what you want to do, which to me meant like, in order for us to work with someone, you got to work with them on something too. So I was going to take his finish and he was going to take my finish. But he took it in a different way. He came back with like, we can do whatever you want to do. We can street fight. We can fight. We can do this. So I took it as a challenge too. So I said, okay, bring your ass on in the ring.
This is Wrestling Life with Ben Veal, the show that celebrates wrestling's past, present, and future with real talk from real talent.
I'm Ben Veal, this is Wrestling Life, and today I'm so pleased to be joined in the studio by my very special guest. He is a WCW and WWE star, three-time karate world champion, former WCW commissioner, and he's one of the most charismatic figures ever to hit the squared circle. Somebody call my mama. It is, of course, the one, the only. It is Ernest the Cat Miller. Ernest, how you doing, my friend?
I really like that intro. But you know, there's a few people out there who will probably disagree with that. Me being a three-time world karate champion. I was a three-time world karate champion back in 1997 when I was at WCW. But I have since then won two more.
Have you?
Yes. Everybody's got. You don't listen. I was not stuck on three. I just took a little
world champion.
I just took a little time off. To enjoy my wrestling career.
Wow! So when did you return to the world of karate then?
Right about 2014. 2014. I was fighting, Canada for my championship in 2014.
That's
for
amazing.
my fourth.
So how long were you away from the world of karate then? Because that must have been pretty hard to get back into, I'd imagine, after wrestling.
You know, I really wasn't like away from it. I still had a little time that I made for one tournament a year, and it was the Battle of Atlanta. That's a tournament that they give here in Atlanta. It's about 50-something years old. And I've been fighting in the Battle of Atlanta ever since like I was a little kid. So in 1975, I was fighting in the Battle of Atlanta. And I decided no matter what I'm doing, where I am, I'm going to keep this date open every year to fight in this tournament. So I fought in the tournament last year at 62.
Wow.
And the way things connected in the ring is like, okay, you got from kids from 8 to like 10. I fought there. Then from 11 to like the teenage. Then from 18 to like 29, then from 30 to 39, then 40 to 49, then 50 to 59, then age bracket. These are age brackets, 60 to 69. So what I did, I went in and I didn't just win every group. At my age, I did not just win every group. I dominated every age group all the way until I'm 60.
And when does it stop? How old does it go up to the age groups? Does it stop at 69 or
60? But we got guys in there 70 and quite a little bit older than 60. But I don't want to do what I can do to those guys. Those guys are just like the oldest guy's like 83. He's a doctor. He fight every year in the tournament. It's a tournament. It's a tournament. Everybody know who he is. So when he come out there, he look 80. You know, people just don't take advantage of it. They just mess around with him. Just let them feel it. You know, because when you reach a certain age, you lose that lust for what you had when you was a teenager, when you were 20, when you were 30, the whole world looked like it just was facing one way. Then when you get to that age of 40 and 50, especially as an athlete, you start, what's important to you, something totally different. It's like the world turned and faced the other way. So now at 60, I like to compete against the young guys. But back in those days, people said, what made you Ernest Miller in karate back then? I didn't like anybody. That's the first thing I had to do. I had to fill myself with lies enough to say I have no friends. Everybody wanted to see me down, and I had to not like anybody to go out and compete. So when I went out and competed, it's like I fought hard. Everybody was an enemy.
Yeah.
But then after I reached a certain age, I started playing those mind games on myself and just learned to enjoy the sport. So I was about maybe 40 then. Just enjoy the sport. I wanted to win, but I wanted to do it amongst my friends, and everybody was my friends. So we went out and I competed and I won that way. Then when you get 50 and 50, it's like, okay, I want to show the world I still got it. So I competed and I dominated that way. Then when I was 60, I said, I'm just glad God gave me the ability and put me here to be able to compete in the 60 plus ring.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I did exactly what I did in other ring. I dominated. Well, anybody over 60 did not want to fight me.
You definitely don't look 60 plus, my friend. You are aging well.
Oh man, let's just hope it keep it up.
So will we still be seeing you when you're 90 plus in the tournament?
Hey, you know what? Not in the tournament. Last year was my first 60 plus, age 60. It was my first tournament that I decided, I need to win at 60 years old. That's the last ring. Everything in there is 60 on up to 80. I said, I need to win this ring. So I went out and I won the ring, and that was last year. So this year, the Battle of Atlanta came near, and guess what? I was there, but I didn't fight. Okay. And it was kind of funny because I saw a lot of 50s and 40-year-olds that they looked pretty good. So I got that itch. But that itch wasn't enough to make me put my gear on. Yeah. And get into the ring. I said, I've won everything. I don't have anything to prove. I achieved something that a lot of people in this karate world could never say they've done before. And it was a mark I set when I was young, not just winning, but this is something I wanted to do when I was young. When I first went to a karate tournament as a martial artist, young guy, I was hungry. I asked my teacher, what make you the best? He said, all you got to do is beat everybody in your ring. I said, no. I was 10 years old. I said, no. I want to fight up. I want to fight the 12 and the 15 because I could. He said, no, you got to beat everybody in your ring. Let people see that where you are truly the best. So I went down to my age group, then was below 15, and I beat everybody. But I fought in that ring, and then I moved to the other ring. So now as I got older, I realized that was the best move I did, because I would probably have lost out on a lot of fun if I just skipped over my ring because I thought I was too good to fight guys my age.
Was the world of professional wrestling ever on your radar when you were competing in martial arts? Never. I never thought about doing pro wrestling.
I used to watch it, every now and then I watch Dusty Rhodes, Ernie Ladd, Thunderbolt Patterson. They were entertaining. They was I explained to people what wrestling was back in the day to me. Back in the day to me, wrestling was like you had a family picnic and you got two big mouth uncles. They always yelling at each other, what they would do and challenging each other. And wrestling to me was like watching those two uncles finally get in the ring to face each other.
Yep.
And I'm just curious to see which one gonna do what they gonna do. And there was a story there. So that was wrestling to me. It was like watching my big mouth uncles go out there and try to beat somebody. They wasn't the best athlete, but they could tell a story.
Yeah.
So that's what I got into wrestling. I love the story. It's just like, to me, it was just like watching a cowboy movie.
Mm.
Cowboy movie always had good storylines. Their acting wasn't good. The acting wasn't always good, but they always had a good story, and that's kick the Indians' ass.
And it's a good, simple story, isn't it?
Simple story,
good and bad, really simple. And that's what always been at the heart of wrestling. When there's good guy, bad guy, and that quest of good over evil has always been at the heart of wrestling, hasn't it? It's what makes it great.
Exactly.
So you, if I'm right in saying you were training a young Garrett Bischoff, and that was how you met Eric, and that leads to you joining WCW. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yes, pretty much. But that means he could put that on the front row and say that's how I got into pro wrestling. But no, I was teaching a student of mine that happened to be the son of Eric Bischoff. When his father came to see me do what I was doing, sparring and playing with the kids and teaching and talking, this guy said, "Hey, why don't you come and work with me?" And I said, "Work with you doing what?" He said, "A pro wrestler." And I said, "No, I've trained too hard." Because then I was a kickboxing champion.
Yeah.
That's the hardest fighting around, kickboxing. I went 12 rounds with a man trying to beat my brains out. I went 12 rounds.
Wow.
And didn't hardly get hit. My face still pretty. It was pretty. He couldn't, didn't hardly get touched. So Eric saw this in me, and he opened up a conversation about maybe coming to work with me. So working with Eric meant that became a pro wrestler.
And I mean, WCW was obviously huge at the time, absolutely huge. Were you watching the product? Were you keeping in touch with what was happening?
It wasn't huge to me because that wasn't my world. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about pro wrestling. I didn't even watch it. My first match in the power plant, I was trying to figure out a character. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to wrestle. I didn't know nothing about wrestling. But I did go, and they put me into school, the power plant, and I would learn it pretty quickly because everybody there was, pro wrestler. Some of the best, from NWO to Hogan to DDP to Bill Goldberg. They had some big name guys coming through that school. So I couldn't do nothing but learn to love wrestling because they did.
Yeah. Is that where your friendship with Goldberg began, in the power plant when you were training together? Is similar time that you joined? So
if you watch Goldberg now, Goldberg is real angry. He just seemed like a mean guy. He's not, though. He's a really nice guy. But I guess he put this on, and I was talking to someone about this. Every time I see Goldberg in the wrestling world signing an autograph or doing something with WWE or something like that, he seemed real angry. He seemed like he's pissed off. He's angry. But then when I see him outside of pro wrestling, working with the fans and meet and greet, he seems so nice. He's such a nice, I always have a smile, real nice, real easygoing. He's a great father, great husband. But he always seemed real angry. And I guess that's that tough man stuff that he had in him. But the way Goldberg and I met, we was at the power plant at the same time. Now, I had first 2 weeks in the power plant, I had a bad reputation. my kicks were fast and hard. So not too many wrestlers were coming down there to get their head kicked off. So it was hard for me to work with somebody in the ring. If I call someone, they'll work with me if I'm wrestling. But if I call someone and say, hey, can someone work with me? They were like, dude, are you kicking? No, I'm not kicking. Shane Hams. I'll work with you, cat, but watch your kicks. And then after I had used everybody up, I hurt a lot of people by mistake. One day I looked up and I said, hey, I called this first guy. I think I yelled out to Billy Kidman. Hey, Billy Kidman, can you come in and work on my finish? He said, what's your finish? The feed line. I'm gonna go up on the rope. I'm gonna turn around kick. I said, nope. He said, nope, not today. Then I asked Hard Body Harrison. Hey, Hard, who will work with anybody? Hard Body Harrison, can you come and take my finish? What is it? Yeah, but I'll be over there in a few minutes. So he was busy thinking he was Mr. Monday Night. So then I said, man, don't nobody want to work with me. They all scared of me. Then I hear this voice, hey, I'll work with you. And I looked over with Goldberg, big old bald head guy with muscles. And I said, okay. And I said, well, what you, but it wasn't like hey, I'll work with you. It's more like a challenge. Hey, I'll work with you. Then I said, what you want to do, what to me meant like, in order for us to work with someone, you got to work with them on something too. So I was going to take his finish and he was going to take my finish. So that's what I meant when I said to him, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
But he took it in a different way. He came back with like, we can do whatever you want to do. We can street fight. We can fight. We can do this. So I took it as a challenge too. So I said, okay, bring your ass on the ring. He said, come on in the ring. I was already standing in the ring. He was standing outside. I said, come on in the ring. And that heated up. We wasn't mad, but it was a challenge.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. We had Pistol Pants Watley who loved that kind of tough stuff. So Pistol Pants Watley saw what was going on. He said, oh, shit. It's a bunch of bad guys down here. You ain't the only one. It's a bunch of bad guys down here. And it kind of took off in a different way, but him and I later worked together and became good friends. It wasn't a challenge. It was just two high-level athletes, trying to mark your territory.
And of course, I mean, it was a lovely surprise the other week. Fans obviously globally got to see you there on WWE Saturday Night's main event, accompanying Goldberg to the ring for his final match. What was that whole experience like for you?
Ever since I left WWE 20-some years ago, I never thought I'd be in another WWE ring, ever. I mean, I wasn't looking to wrestle no more. So, and they weren't using working with me. And let me tell you this right here. One of the biggest movies that was out was the movie The Wrestler.
Sure, yeah. You as the Ayatollah.
That movie was huge. And I thought for sure they were going to come and ask me to come and do something with them. Being that it was one of the biggest movies out, nominated for Oscar. But they didn't ask me. They went and asked Mickey Rourke, somebody who's not even a wrestler. I'm the one made him look good in the movie.
Sure.
So I never thought I'd be in the WWE ring again. So I started going to the WWE shows. But lately I've been going to see, because I got a couple of friends who work there. It's good to go see them. So Goldberg and I go way back to, I will get ready to do my match on Monday night, right before Goldberg was coming out. So as I came through the curtains, Goldberg was standing behind the curtain, waiting to go out. And as soon as I reached him and started a conversation, his music hit. You heard that crowd, Goldberg. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody get that kind of response.
I was in London, December 2000, I think it was. So right near the end of WCW, and there was a show in London Arena. And what that Goldberg chant, when it hit, it absolutely blew the roof off. It was just something very between him and Steve Austin. The crowd reactions
no. Maybe with you and Steve Austin, I hear Steve Austin when you hit that pow. But Goldberg, I know for sure, was the loudest I've ever heard. Goldberg. They just wanted to see Goldberg. And Goldberg is, he said, I think we was in some little small town too, like down south Alabama. And it was Goldberg. And he looked at me and I looked at him. He had this goofy smile on his face. Do you hear that? I said, yeah. I was like, man, they loud. He was like, I can't believe they calling my name like that. I was just a little Jewish kid growing up. I never thought that I'd be in the South wrestling and this all white crowd is calling Goldberg my name. So he got all misty eyed a little bit, and it meant something to him. It didn't just mean that he was over. It meant something to him deep in his heart. I think it touched emotionally. It touched him in a way to know that he was loved by so many people at that time, and he never thought he could do it. So that was so loud, man. So walking Goldberg to the ring Saturday night main event was the same thing. I walked him to the thing, walked him to the door, the gorilla. His music hit and the crowd was loud. I don't think WWE will tell anybody this. It was louder than any other thing that night.
Really?
I hear people talking about we don't like Goldberg. We didn't want Goldberg. See, that night in the ring, they were louder than they was the first night that we went to the ring. The crowd was all into Goldberg. People were cheering. They was all into Goldberg. I don't know. Maybe they didn't count on that happening. Maybe they thought they were going boo. We don't want to see Goldberg. I don't know what the fact was because they seemed surprised to know that so many people wanted to see Goldberg, and they ain't talking about it much. They didn't talk about it. They didn't say nothing. But he was over. They didn't have to pipe in no sound. I've heard them pipe in sound. Matter of fact, I was working with WWE one time when The Rock came back. And The Rock came back, and they had to pipe in boos and stuff like that because the crowd wasn't reacting to The Rock. Wow. I think it was like when he had won his thing where he went all, shot a couple of movies, then came back. They just wasn't where I think they had to turn him heel. Once they turned him heel because the crowd had kind of lost that zest for what The Rock was doing.
Yeah.
Title Run Toys Series 1. Dangerous Danny Davis. Wrath. Juventud Guerrera. Ernest the Cat Miller. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Coming to the ring soon.
And not saying he wasn't over, but I'm sitting in a room with the writers, with Vince McMahon, with the producers. I'm all sitting in the room with them because I was working as a commentator then. And one of their main thing was the crowd just not with him this way. We thought this was going to do this. We might have to turn him heel. We'll pipe in some stuff. So they piped in some stuff, which was normal. Sometimes they will go out just to get the reaction for the TV audience at home to hear and see what they projected. So talking to Goldberg that night, hearing that loud cheer, man, WWE never said anything about it. The only thing I started seeing is what people were talking about. We did not want to see Goldberg. Some people love it. It was two grown men. I saw two of them crying. I mean, hugging each other, crying. And I looked at him, I was like, what the hell is wrong with him? And then I saw the same guy, because he was sitting on front row. I asked him, why are you upset? He said, that's just like the last thing of WCW I might see. Said, well, one of the things I grew up on, WCW and Goldberg. And this might be the last. And they were actually crying. upset. And to me, that just showed me just how much this guy's loved. People, listen, people who've never been in a ring, people who've never been in a fight, people never been challenged before, people who have not been in a pro sport, been an athlete to do anything, they don't understand how it feels to be accepted by the fans, by the people. For over 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, there's a validation thing as well, because obviously Goldberg's 2003.
Whoa. What do you mean validation? What do you mean by that?
I mean, 2003 to 2004, his first run in WWE was so disappointing, how it was creatively booked and how he was presented.
Man, that wasn't Goldberg's fault. No. If you go back and you do the research, you know what's up. Vince McMahon, at that time, whoever he was working with in that group, they knew what they wanted to do with all the WCW and WCW.
Yeah.
They want to take it, fold it up like a fan, and put it in the basement. Put it away so we won't have to relive that they'll never come back and beat us again for 83 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That 83 weeks, I'm going to leave that. Go over and see Eric Bischoff, because he was there for a lot of those weeks.
Yeah,
absolutely. On his podcast. 83 weeks. But the thing is, man, this guy right here did a great job. I was there watching it all, and I was taking it in. I knew what to do. I was there. I've been there before. I've been in a big crowd. I've been in WWE. I know what they feel, what the locker room. I know what people look like when things are going their way. Things wasn't going their way, because I'm going to tell you this. When Goldberg got cut off at the end, when he got ready to say his speech, people didn't see this.
No.
But as soon as the match ended, the crowd headed for the door. I mean, it was damn near almost empty. Seats were already empty out before Goldberg even got the mic.
Wow.
He was still just selling it. But guess what? Soon as Goldberg got the mic and started speaking, they ain't gonna tell you this. The seat filled, the whole place filled back up.
Yeah, it was a great speech. Really, great way to go out.
Listen, it was still people waiting around listening to him. They wanted to hear him.
Yeah, of course.
Those who were there, they didn't know he was going to talk. I didn't know he was going to say anything. But when he got the mic, started talking, the crowd started coming back. But guess what? They was off air.
I know.
Maybe somebody didn't want Goldberg to be heard. But what Goldberg said, he's a very intelligent, smart, well-spoken guy. What he said touched my heart. And it touched my heart in a different reason. It touched my heart because he's representing where I come from in this world of pro wrestling. And the words that he spilled out into the crowd were exactly what made me proud to be a wrestler. Because he said some things that I would love hearing coming from anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. It could have been a baseball player. Could have been Donald Trump. Could have been anybody. What he said is people need to love each other and treat each other like you want to be treated.
Yep.
But guess what? They was out the air. They was out the air. A lot of people didn't get to hear that.
I was watching it, and obviously it cut off after about 20 seconds. And then someone sent me a video of the speech, and I recorded a video that same day on my channel saying, like, you need to go out and watch the Goldberg speech because it was really moving and it's got a lovely message to it. And obviously WWE about 24 hours later did post the video, and it's now had millions of views. But as you say, like, the way that is obviously the way he wanted to go out, and he didn't get to have that moment on his own terms. But what was it like for you being back in a WWE ring with Goldberg and DDP, and because it's been 21 years since you were inside a WWE ring? What was it like for you, Ernest?
It was good. It was good and bad. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the most that, I'd have left blood, sweat, and tears in this ring. I'd have helped this business to get to where it's at right now. Even with guys who didn't know me, because some guys are young, they 20, when they were 1, 2, 3 years old, I was wrestling. I was doing my thing. So a lot of those guys don't know me, but there are some who do know me. There's a lot of people who do know me. And they understand what I gave to this business. I was entertaining.
Yeah.
I was kicking people, having fun, enjoying. I helped carry wrestling into the next generation. And now look at where it's at. That's a $1 billion company. $1 billion company.
And it always seemed like you were having a lot of fun out there as well. Your character, it always seemed like you were having a great time in the ring. Did you enjoy it?
Sometimes I did. But I can enjoy anything, anywhere when it comes to like entertaining people. If I'm having a good time, people going to really understand. They're going to see that this guy's having a good time. So it wasn't that hard. Listen, we was on the road every 280 days a year one year. We were going all over the world I was making a lot of money. I was taking care of my kids, my family back home. I'm making a lot of money. I'm on the road with Billy Kidman, Rey Mysterio, Conan, Giant, Big Show, Scott Hall, Nash, and it was always something fun going on. Now, my back may be a little sore, or my knee may be a little sore, but I was on the road with family. How can you not enjoy that? I had a great time. My best time, when people say, if you thought I was funny on TV, you should have been in that locker room, because that's where all the fun was at. That was the best stuff. Listen, when I went to the ring, what I did in the ring was not to pop the crowd. It was to pop the locker room. Because when I go back through the door after I'm done out here in the ring and on TV, when I go back to the locker room, I want Stevie Ray or Terry Taylor. Somebody said, man, that was so funny. That was good. That was so funny. Mean Gene, hey, that was so funny. I really like that. That was so. That's what motivated me to work like I did.
Yep. I mean, when it came to this character that you have, the dancing in the ring, obviously the ruby slippers, all that kind of stuff. Whose idea was that? Did that come from you, or was that a creative from WCW?
It was creative. My mom used to listen to music, sing and dance, and do all that stuff. My family was. My grandfather used to listen to the old school, back then, the old music. So I just loved to hang around the older people in my family. My mom, my grandfather. I was that kind of kid growing up. So a lot of my time was spent in the backyard by myself. In the yard by myself, entertaining myself. I used to be out there in my backyard acting like I'm putting on a concert, singing and dancing and stuff all by myself as a kid. Amazing. So wrestling, didn't nobody had to tell me what to do, that to have fun. I had fun. So, I created that character just out of my inner thoughts. That person that hidden away in my head. I just let you guys come in and join in on it.
And I mean, we're still talking about it well over 25 years later. I mean, our friends at Title Run Toys, great guys who've set up the new toy line, they've just released the Ernest the Cat Miller figure. So, there's still a lot of love and nostalgia for the character that you brought to life. It's a really memorable character that you portrayed.
Oh, man, you smart. That's exactly what I wanted to say. That's the word for it. I brought that character to life.
Yeah.
It was already in me, but I gave it life.
Well, it's that wrestling analogy, isn't it? And you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong here, but they say a lot that it's your real self turned up to 100 or 1,000 or whatever the term is, but you find what's in you and you amplify it. Was there an element of that this was already you and it's just making it bigger for wrestling?
It's just putting on the show. I put a face on that I had to put on. Some of the time I was out making people laugh, I was going through pain and hurt in my own life. But there's no time to worry about myself. I got these people at 8 o'clock who want to see the cat. They want to see me dance and laugh and stuff like that. But as that smile was on my face, sometimes deep in my heart was pain. You know, with stuff that happened at home, you know, losing my mom, things that didn't, you know, things that you just can't explain. It's just life. It's life. No matter what I feel like in my heart, it got to show something totally different when I come out and I face you guys. And I say you guys, because right now I'm looking into the camera and I'm looking into your eyes. Yeah. You understand this. You understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say I had to bring that character to life. And it's no matter what I was feeling on the inside.
Because you know you're there for the 2 hours of WCW Nitro, your 2 hours or 3 hours of Nitro, you're there to provide me with some escapism. You're there to take away my worries. I'm there to be entertained. Whatever's going on in my life, there's the entertainment.
It's all entertainment. It's fake.
Yeah.
Wrestling is fake. It's play with this, play like you hurt, look like you hurt. I don't understand why these young guys want to go out and look like they're trying to kill each other when they'd already told the whole world that this is fake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a strange fact. Yeah, going back to your training days, but obviously you've come from combat sports. You've come from karate. Was it a challenge to learn the art form of, you were saying about, kicking people, having to learn how to,
work?
Yeah, how to work your kicks.
Of course you did. But, just like anything else, I played pro football a little bit. I was a karate champion. I fought many different styles. But each one of them, you got to practice. You got to learn how to work it. Just because I see a spinning kick and I'm fighting the world champion and I think the spinning kick will knock his head off, I still got to practice because it's still a latitude and attitude that you got to have when you throwing these different techniques. So it's the same thing I went over to wrestling. I don't want to knock his head off. What's the best way to make this work? And most people don't understand. I didn't wrestle. I was 35 years old when I started wrestling. I didn't grow up doing indie shows, traveling the world, making $50 appearances and stuff. I didn't do that. I came right into one of the biggest promotion in wrestling. And I had to learn real fast.
Yeah.
I went from being in the power plant. I don't even know how to take a headlock. I didn't know what carryover takedown was. I didn't know any of that stuff. Still don't know the name of them. But one thing I knew I could do, I could fight. Mm-hmm. So if somebody tell me, only work this left hand, you need to take him to his back. I got a black belt in judo. Boom, I took him to his back. But then when I realized that this is all good, but I'm never going to learn what Rey Mysterio can do. I'm never going to grow to be experienced in wrestling, not this fast, not before I go out on Monday night. I'm not going to learn this stuff fast enough. But one time I was walking down the hall on the Monday night show, and Raven, who was very smart, very strange. Raven was strange, really smart. He'd say stuff to you just like, what the hell is he talking about? But it's real smart and catchy. It's like this dude right here with words, he was magical. And I was one of the ones who got him. I understood what he said. Not every word, but I understood exactly what he said. So one day he was walking down the hall. He said, "Cat, you know what? you already have 90% of what it takes to be great in this business. And it's not your wrestling. He said, you got charisma. You got charisma. You got something that make people want to watch you. You can talk. You can have fun. You're nice. You got the charisma. That's 90%. Once I heard that, that's when I went on to be the commissioner.
Yeah.
So damn, taking these body slams and don't nobody want to work with me. Lex Luger don't want to work with me. Sting will work with me. Hogan will work with me, but nobody want to work with me because I'm different. But wait a minute, I can talk. That's something people say. They said we can write a whole script for the cat. He'll read it one time. He can deliver it his way, and it'll get over. I heard Vince McMahon tell the crowd one time when they said he didn't watch me. We was on this plane flying back to New York from Chicago with about 10 of us. And he started talking about people writing down the script. And he said, writers, you guys can't give people like Scott Steiner no script and just let him go on his own because, man, that guy right there is crazy. That was Vince. He's crazy, man. He gonna say some shit that he shouldn't say. He gonna do this. He gonna go away from the script, and it's gonna be terrible. Then they start calling out guys' name who they felt like they couldn't let go like that. Then Vince looked at me. He said, "That dude right there, Cap, give him 3-4 lines and tell him what you want, and watch him go." So they knew what to do with me, but they never did anything. They hit me away on commentary.
Yeah,
velocity. They never wanted me to wrestle, but when I got there, I did a dark match. I didn't do talking on the mic and the commentary. I did a dark match with Norman Smiley. They looked at me and say, man, that match was better than some of the ones we had.
Do you think it was because you were a WCW guy?
Come on, what do you think? You saw what happened. You're a smart dude. You saw what happened to every talent that they had out there. They just smashed it, stepped on it, crushed it into the ground. Name one, DDP. Worst, they did the worst writing for anybody. They wrote him Dreadful. like he was a pervert looking at through windows. They didn't try to live up to him. Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell didn't last but what? 2 weeks in there. You know, they did a lot of people. Everybody that came on, they smashed. The only one they did smash were those who left before the company sold. Chris Benoit. Chris Jericho. So they did exactly what they were going to do. They knew what they were going to do with that. And from what I heard this from someone who had every right to have this information. He said that when they bought the company for $5 million, in the contract, Vince had to say that he would give each and every wrestler opportunity to come to WWE. So a lot of people he brought over, it was in the contract. He had to give them a chance.
Were you on a guaranteed contract with WCW at the time of the buyout?
You're damn right. That's why I disappeared for 3 years. I got my money and went home. I just signed a 3-year deal. They didn't cut it. They couldn't stop it. They had to pay me for 3 years.
I'm Mark Merrill, former WWE Intercontinental Wrestling Champion and 3-time WCW World Television Champion. I am thrilled to announce the release of my new book, Bad to Good. The inspiring story of a wrestling wild man chronicles the highs and lows of my life, both in and out of the wrestling ring. It's a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and the importance of perseverance, no matter how tough the journey gets. Co-authored with my good friend and award-winning journalist, Ben Veal, this is a story I've long wanted to share, and I truly hope it inspires you. I hold nothing back in this book, revealing the untold truths of my extraordinary life, from my modest beginnings and my first boxing match to the struggles with addiction that almost consumed me and my evolution into the charismatic Johnny B. Bad. This book offers an insider's perspective on the world of professional wrestling and my journey as a sports entertainer. You'll read about my pivotal negotiations with Vince McMahon that led to the first ever guaranteed contract in the WWF and how that decision marked me within the locker room. I discuss the impact of my relationship with my then wife, Rena, known to fans as Sable, on my career. I also confront the darkest moments of my life, how I hit rock bottom and how that experience sparked my rebirth, leading me to become America's leading motivational school speaker, inspiring young people and transforming lives. Featuring forwards by my good friends Diamond Dallas Page and Lex Luger, along with contributions from Mick Foley, Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo, and others who shared this wild journey with me. Bad to Good is a story you don't want to miss. Head to Amazon.com or WrestlingLife.online now to pick up your copy.
In that 3 years, I was able to go home, spend a lot of time with my kids. I had a great time, a great life, making money, taking my kids to a private school. I was a stay-at-home father.
Amazing.
And at the same time, my knees were healing, my ankles from all the punishment, my back. I started stretching, I started kicking again. I went back into karate. So then as soon as I went back into karate, I started feeling good. I never thought I was going to be able to do another karate move. I don't know if you've been in a ring before.
Mm-hmm.
That ring is not given to your knees and ankles and hips. And bro, I was bad off. I couldn't even jump off the ground. I couldn't even jump. My ankles and feet and everything hurt so bad. But then when I got away from those 3 years, just taking my kids home, working out, slowly working out, man, my karate came back. I was able to walk the floor and teach kids again. I was having a good time. Then I got a call on my phone. It was Johnny Ace. Hey, Cap, you need to come up here. Like, what? Vince McMahon, I think Vince will like you. You need to come do a dark match. I said, I won't do no damn dark match. Yeah, he know who I am if they want me. Now, I swear on my mom, I said to John Ace, if Vince want me, if I'm wanted up there, I ain't coming to do no damn dark match. Just say, well, he believed that Vince did not watch any WCW shows. I said, what? He was getting his ass kicked by a company. He probably didn't watch it with you guys, but he probably recorded it and he probably watched it, but I told him they wanted me to come up there. They wanted me to come there. They would have to sign me to a contract and see if I want to come, not if you guys want me to. Okay, well, let's see. But then when I got that, was thinking about it, my contract was going to end anyway, 3 years. I said, 2 years? I'll go for a year. I got enough money. I done made the money I wanted to get from this business. So I said, let's go up there. And no, the reason I'm going up there is because I want to say that when time go by, I worked for the two largest company in the world, WCW and then WWE.
And it amazes me that, because the run you had was very brief, as you say, you're doing commentary on Velocity, you have that kind of fun spot in the 2004 Royal Rumble. Which I was going to ask you about that. Was that your idea to come in and do the dance?
No, they wanted to do it. Vince McMahon was he was a fan. He really liked me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who I used to work with him. He was the one come up with that stuff. He came up with that stuff and he laughed and enjoyed every scene of it. And I'm going to tell you, when I knew it was something to it, we was on a dark match. We was on a road show, a house show. And I was with Angleby, Shelton Benjamin, and another guy. I forgot his name. He's no longer worked there, black guy, big muscle guy. He went to Australia here. It was them and somebody there with John Cena. And they got some heat on John Cena, and I was supposed to come down and hit the ring and scare them off. They were trying to put a match together for WrestleMania with me and somebody was going to take on those two guys. And I remember coming down. They got the heat on. The crowd going crazy. They got the heat on John Cena. I slid in the ring. John Cena was just, he was just John Cena then. He was just coming about. So when I slid in, John Cena got up. He came in, put the heat on, and we stood up back to back like just working. Dark match. So he got the mic. They gave him the mic, and yo, 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 yo. He was doing that kind of stuff. The crowd whooped it. But then he looked at me. He reached the mic out to me. He reached to give me the mic. And soon I reached to get the mic in my hand. The crowd went crazy. Cat, cat, cat. They knew what I was going to say. They were waiting for it. As soon as I got ready to say something, the referee whispered, give the mic back to John Cena.
Wow.
So I'm like, not before. Okay, here you go. Maybe they got something planned for this guy. So I gave the mic back to him. And the crowd didn't get what they wanted. And then that's when I learned, that's when I kind of understood, listen, I'm a smart dude. I'm a very, very smart person. I can look at something and I can dictate it and I can tear it down and rebuild it in my head. See, I can see way back just looking at you. I can see back when you had hair.
Yep.
That's how far back that is.
Was luscious.
I can see that. Yeah. I know it. I know it right now. It's not much up there.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. So this is what I noticed. I said, these guys don't want to do anything with us. They just bringing us over to get to use our name and the image of WCW if they wanted to. Because once you sign one contract with them, they can use your likeness forever.
Mm.
Vince McMahon was smart. He took over the business. He did exactly what he wanted to do with the business.
Yeah.
You can answer that yourself.
No, he did. And I think, the invasion, obviously, they could have been incredible, if with different people behind it and with different motives, the ability to pit WWF versus WCW was literally dream match after dream match for years. But it was obvious from day one that this, I've had Brian Clark on the show multiple times now. We've talked a lot about Chronic and, Chronic seems like mega stars, you think you can't fail with Chronic, and obviously
I thought they was about to get over huge. When I'm watching WWE or WWF or WWE, wherever it was then, and I saw Chronic go, I said, man, these guys about to get over huge.
Yeah, they were incredible. Yeah, so what could have been? But I wanted to ask you about the wrestler. You mentioned that briefly earlier because I loved that film when it came out in 2008, and obviously you had a really big role as the Ayatollah against Mickey Rourke, and that film goes on to become Oscar nominated. How did you end up being cast in that role, and what was it like being in that setting?
I don't know about you, but I'm a Christian.
Yeah, me too.
I believe God lead me to go where I need to be. If I'm there and I don't have God, I'm in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
I went to California with hopes of being in a big movie. Big movie. I need people to know me. I got everything it takes. I got good look. I got white teeth. I got what it takes, man. So when I get there, I stayed there for about 6 months, living there, spending money, just living there, trying to find a way to get in on one big movie. I just want a movie. I deserve it. People talk to me about a couple of movies. Okay. In LA, they were small budget movies. They'll talk to me about a movie. Hey, we would like you in the movie. Hey, can you invest this amount in our movie? What? You want me pay to be in your movie? No. So finally, I got sick and tired of the people out there. I got sick and tired of the people out in California. The attitude, the cockiness, just cocky, it was like they just didn't really care about nothing but themselves. So I did what a man would do. I packed up and went home. Came back to Atlanta. 2 weeks in Atlanta. 3 weeks in Atlanta. I get a call from an agent. hey, they want you to come to New York. I said, for what? Oh, it's a guy named Darren Aronofsky doing a movie, and I think you'll be good in the movie. I said, well, send me a script. Send me the script. I didn't even look the script over. Didn't even look at it the first 2 days. So I found, let me read this script. I sat down with it. And my mind's all over the place. I can't sit still. I got to be doing something, 2 or 3 things.
Like me? Yeah.
Yeah. So I sat down and I started to read the script. When I looked up, 45 minutes were gone. And I was at the end of the script. I was like, this damn script is good. Whoever wrote this is good. The script pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So I called back and told my manager, I said, I like this, man, but how they get my name in New York? I said, well, I don't know. They just called me looking for you. So I was like, okay, bang. Called me back and said, hey, they want you to come out to New York. I said, when? Said, as soon as you can. They want you to read for Darren Aronofsky. I said, who is Darren? Then the guy said, he did a couple of films, Black Swan, couple other big movies, underground movies that did pretty well. And I was like, I don't know this guy. And I said, well, just tell him to get me a ticket. No, you buy your own ticket. I called Goldberg. I said, Goldberg, can you believe these guys want me to do a movie for them, but they want me to pay my own way out there to read for them, to do the audition? Goldberg said, absolutely not, bro. If they want you, they'll pay for you. That typical Goldberg. They'll pay for you. First class, this. Soon I hung up with Goldberg. I called the guy and said, okay, I'll buy my own ticket. I'm not Goldberg. But I bought my own ticket out there. I got out there, met Darren, his executive, Scott Franklin, his assistant director. We talked, I read, they said, we like the part. Can you wait for us? Can you stay here? Because I was going to go in and right back out. That's after I finished reading for the part, I said, my plane leave in like 3 hours. He said, oh, don't worry about your plane. We'll rebook you. I said, oh, okay, all right. So I waited. First person came in with Nicolas Cage. But they were talking to Nicolas Cage like he wasn't that person. He was in the film, but he's not in the film anymore. Because the only thing he was saying, this film is too hard. I don't want to work this hard on the film. I don't want to work this hard on the film. Then about an hour later, knock. A guy came in, white teeth, blonde hair. Nice guy, friendly guy. I thought it was DDP, but it wasn't. Who do you think it was?
I'm going to guess Mickey Rourke.
No.
No?
That's exactly what it was. It wasn't DDP. It kind of looked alike. I want you to say that, not me.
Okay. Okay.
So they said, can you read with him? I said, yeah. So I read the part of the Ayatollah. He read the part of the Ram. And as we started reading the part, it became easier. The conversation was like having a conversation. Him and I had a conversation. And he looked at Daryl. He said, man, I like this guy. This guy's a natural. Natural. So they looked at me and said, you got the part. We're going to start shooting in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Here, take this limo. Take the limo. We got your first class ticket back to Atlanta, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. And then as soon as I walked out, the first thing he said, don't get muscled up. I said, don't worry about it. I've been trying to get muscled up for about 20 years. It ain't worked now. Then he said, because remember, they are old wrestlers. They're retired wrestlers. You don't want to go get all muscled up and grow a beard. I was like, what the hell do you want me to grow a beard for? Don't shave. So I said, I wonder what he want to grow a beard for. So once I got back, yeah, we supposed to be, I was a used car salesman. I mean, I own my car dealership. So I wasn't wrestling, so I wasn't in that kind of shape anymore, but I wasn't in bad shape. But, and then they wanted me to look like the Ayatollah with this big, thick beard and mustache. So that's why they asked me not to shave. And let me tell you something. Once I got up there, man, it was so much fun. I never got to see anybody else. I didn't see anybody else. I didn't see any of the other wrestlers.
Really?
I got to see the top guys, because those are the ones. Marissa Tomei, who else? I forgot this girl's name, but she's real big name girl too. She played the daughter of Randy Ram. But she really played his daughter on there. But anyway, I only got to see them because those are the only ones I work with. And from just seeing that, I was like, okay. Now you got to remember, I came from WCW. WCW, when they filmed something, they overstocked. They had like 20 cameras, wow. 10 booms, 10 producers, all around just to get one shot. Now here I am making a movie. You got 2 cameras, one guy holding a camera. He'll put that one down and go get the other one. Then you had Darren, director, standing right there looking at us, barking off directions and guiding us through, doing his hand like this and all this stuff. And I heard him tell Mickey, because him and Mickey go back and forth all the time. I heard him tell Mickey, you gonna thank me one day. Well, once you go in and collect the Oscar, you're gonna thank me for that. And I'm listening there and I'm looking around at this little shabby looking little place. And I say, ain't no way this thing gonna even get near Academy Award. No lie, I swear. I said, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what they were cooking in the kitchen. But later on, I found out they kept saying it. And then I had a friend who worked in the TV business call me and she said, hey, Ernest, this was after the movie had been film festivals and I think it had been released. No, it wasn't released then. It was just in the film festival. He said, hey, what's the name of that movie you was in? Then I said, The Wrestler. Then she said, man, that movie is eating it up. It's doing good at all the film festival. Italy, Canada, all over the world. That film will win at every award at the film festival. So I said, might be something there. I wish I'd known that before I negotiated my contract. Boy, I would have gotten it. But you know what's so fun? The residual for that movie is still good.
Amazing. It's a fantastic movie, and it's also a story that is very timeless, isn't it? It doesn't age. Yeah. I love the film.
And you know, my daughter never watched the film. When she's 27 now. So when that film was made, she probably have been, what did you say, about 10 years ago?
15, I think. I think it's
Yeah, she was young. She watched it for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Really?
She knew I was in the movie, but she just sat down and watched the movie. She said, Dad, I knew you was in the movie, but I did not think the movie, that's my favorite movie. She said, it was a great movie. You did really good in there. And to me, that was my Academy Award right there. Yeah. When my daughter tell me she enjoyed my work in that movie.
And I thought it would win an Academy Award. I was really surprised it didn't.
No.
There was talk at the time, but it was because Mickey Rourke got involved with WrestleMania, and that maybe had an impact with the judges. I don't know, but I always thought that it deserved to win an Oscar.
Oh, so you think Mickey has something to do with it, huh?
There was a lot of talk at the time, and I don't know whether it's people overthinking it, but there was a lot of talk at the time.
Hold on. Mickey. Yeah. I got this guy. What's your name again?
Ben.
I got this guy named Ben on the phone. He said we did not win the Oscar because you fucked up and went and did something at WrestleMania, and you should have set your ass down and waited. All right, I'll let him know. He said kiss his ass.
Fair enough.
I never heard that though, but that might have been true. Because Mickey always rubbed people the wrong way. He was like, Mickey didn't sit with the stars. He sat down with the common guys, the producer, the production company. That's who he was for. If you gonna treat me special, you treat them special. That's the kind of person Mickey Mickey is.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact what you said about your daughter. I think that's so special because that really is what it's all about, isn't it? It's about that legacy. It's about what you leave behind for your children. As you say, you're an entertainer, and you're there to entertain and make memories, and you did in the ring, and you did in that film. I guess my last question for you, Ernest, for today is, when you kind of look back on everything you did in wrestling, particularly, especially in WCW, what is there something that stands out as like your proudest moment or your favorite memory from your wrestling life?
I'm going to give it to you like this. The thing I did the best, it took courage. It took heart. It took me into a place where I knew nobody. I didn't know how to do it, but I put myself out there. I trusted the process. I trusted that God put me here for a reason, which I used to say all the time. I never knew anything about wrestling. I'm 35 years old. I never tried to do a match. I didn't want to do it. But when somebody said, hey, you can do this, I believed in myself. And I believed in God put me there. And with him putting me there, he was not going to put me somewhere where I fail. So my memory and the biggest thing I did was to take that chance, to take that leap in faith. A lot of people said, no, I'm not doing that. I've never done that in my life. I'm not going to do that. I don't even know how to wrestle. I don't even know anybody in the business. I said that, but I still stepped out there, and now people consider me a legend. 5 years. Took me 5 years. My uncle, my grandfather, nobody was a wrestler in my family. 5 years, and I got over. Just think if somebody gave me a real legit effort to help me to get over with 5 more years. I've probably been one of the biggest names in the business. Eric Bischoff said that if he had just 3-4 more years with me in the business, I probably would have been one of the biggest names in the business. But I've done enough. I did enough. That's what I said to Mickey when he was about to jump. You've done enough. Yeah. I did enough in the business to be considered someone that was in the business that did good for the business. You don't hear me doing drugs. You don't hear me doing a lot of bad things back in the day where people hated me. You hear, Ernest Miller, I remember he used to call my mama.
Absolutely. No, you left behind an incredible legacy, and I'm very grateful that you're able to give up your time today and have this conversation with me. As I said at the start, I've got to give a shout out to the great guys at Title Run Toys, good friends of the show, and who have produced this fantastic Ernest the Cat Miller figure as part of the Series 1 line, which is available now. Also got to give a thanks to my producer, Jeff Easton from Tall Lake Productions, for bringing the show together, and thank you to my audience for joining me and the cat today. But most of all, thank you to you, Ernest, for being with me today here on Wrestling Life.
Hey, brother, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Oh, absolute pleasure. So just my audience, this has been Ben Veal. It's been Wrestling Life. My special guest has been Ernest the Cat Miller. We'll be back soon for more real talk from real talent. See ya.